What's going on, everybody? It's just another day in the kitchen, back with another episode, and in today's video we're taking a look at none other than the Fashion Killa himself, aka asaprocky, and some dope new merch that he released, which may be part of his new album. Now before we get started, I want to give a special shout out to the homie Strain Beats, who's been cooking up the beats for these videos, so make sure you guys check him out. And while you're here, you might as well drop a like and subscribe and join our free Discord to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest. Shout out to all of my chefs in there. Now to start off today's Rocky video, I have to point out the fact that we're just shy of the 6th year anniversary since Rocky released his last studio album Testing all the way back in 2018. So being the big fan of Rocky that I am, and the self-proclaimed YouTube merch guy, you can imagine my shock and excitement when my Discord alerted me to the fact that Rocky uploaded and dropped some new merch on his website, og.com. And while I of course will do my best to highlight this merch drop and any drop that I cover, I really urge you guys to visit his website and check out how creatively this one has been put together. Now to set the tone for this all new merch collection, Rocky would go on to first drop this Bulletproof tee for a cool retail price of $55. And if you've been a fan of him like I have, you may have actually recognized this as he debuted it initially in 2023 at one of his Rolling Loud performances. And it's with this first Bulletproof tee that we get our first example of some common themes that are repeated throughout this merch drop, specifically with the repeated use of the slogan American Sabotage, as you guys can see, as well as the use of this bulletproof theme that we see not only on t-shirts as well as tank tops and also hoodies and long sleeves. Now, in addition to the various arrays of bulletproof design merch, we also get the introduction of this Rhinestone tee, which also jumps in price from the $55 we saw in the first pieces up to $70. And I want to believe that because this is a Rhinestone tee, they actually placed all of them themselves, thus justifying the increase in price. And while the name and nature of this collection is currently unconfirmed, I really want to believe that this is part of the first rollout for Rocky's upcoming album Don't Be Dumb, as you'll see some pieces throughout here that reference that exact slogan, but I'll let you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think by the end of this one. Now, being that I've been a fan of Rocky throughout his entire career, it was of course no surprise to me to see some artsy direction with some of these merch pieces. And while he is the self-proclaimed Fashion Killa and has always had very expensive taste, I don't think I was quite prepared for these $600 custom denim pants that are available on his website. And if you're anything like myself, boy, I hope them pants are bulletproof for that price, because sheesh. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the video, Rocky would actually debut these custom denim layered jeans about a year ago at one of his Rolling Loud performances, and even back then they had a lot of heads turning and a lot of people talking. And while I certainly cannot afford to drop $600 on these denim jeans at the moment, I did want to highlight and show them off so you guys could appreciate the craftsmanship that went into them to create this layering effect. Now, Rocky, being the creative artist that he is, also had his fashionable fans in mind and would go on to also drop a blue version of these layered denim pants, which would go on to surprisingly sell out along with the black pair almost immediately, which really makes me wonder whether his fans are really up like that, or maybe I'm just broke as hell. Damn. Now, if the $600 custom denim jeans weren't speaking to you from this new collection, Rocky would also go on to drop the following $225 beanie, which I think deserves some extra attention, as he would go on to give his fans a preview of this expensive piece with the following outfit in which he was spotted most recently with Rihanna. Now, you may be sitting here watching this video and wondering why a beanie would cost $225, and to be honest and transparent, I'm not quite sure myself, so I wanted to zoom in and show you some of the features of this beanie, and also show you some reference photos of Rocky wearing it himself, where you can see that these are some kind of ornaments that have been fastened to it, although I can't speak to the quality. And while I'm sure someone as lit and fashionable as Rocky here is probably wearing actual pearls on his pieces, I have a feeling that the set that's available for this merch is probably a little bit cheaper quality, but nonetheless I want to show you guys what these pieces actually look like on the beanie in case you're on the fence about picking this one up. And of course, to follow up the Beanie, Rocky would also drop this classic piece of OG asaprocky merch in the form of an OG trucker hat, which if you know, you really know. And for those of you that don't, this has been a classic piece of merch that Rocky has worn some way or fashion throughout the years, and if you look up any fit pics of him throughout the last couple of years, you can always spot him wearing some kind of OG trucker hat. So honestly, this might be my favorite piece of merch from this collection, and not just because it's one of the most affordable ones. Now, something else I wanted to point out about this particular piece of merch in particular is the phrase "don't be dumb" that we see on the back of the cap here. Because if you recall at the beginning of this video, while there's no confirmed name for this brand new Rocky merch collection, some fans speculate that this is actually part of the rollout for his new album Don't Be Dumb, and I'd love to know in the comments what you guys think about that. And speaking of the cheaper merch from this collection, we also have the following bandana that you can pick up for a cool $30, as well as this $60 Don't Be Dumb skate deck, which again gives me reason to believe this rollout potentially has something to do with the upcoming album, because why are you dropping merch with the phrase "don't be dumb" unless it has something to do with your upcoming album titled Don't Be Dumb, you dig? Now, to round up this very unique and random Rocky merch collection, we also have some novelty items in the form of this $40 plastic pearl set, which we saw featured earlier on that $225 beanie. So if you don't want to drop the $225 on the pearl beanie, perhaps you can pick up these custom pieces for $40 and make your own DIY merch, which I think would be pretty cool. And last but not least, we have the most affordable piece of merch from this new Rocky collection in the form of this $12 OG keychain, which I think is a cool pickup if you're a fan of him, as anyone who's familiar with OG and his art collective would immediately recognize it. Now, while some people were very excited at the news of this new collection and immediately started to cop, I saw online while I was doing my research that many orders were automatically canceled. So if you've experienced this, let us know in the comments, and it makes me wonder if this merch was perhaps rolled out a little bit too soon given that they've been canceling orders. Now, with all that being said, I have to say I'm actually pretty happy with the way this new asaprocky merch collection turned out, as not only do we get a preview of some pieces that have something to do with the new album, such as that trucker hat, but we also get some true Rocky pieces that are creative, such as those denim pants, which he of course wears, and I think is always a great sign when you have artists wearing their actual merch. And while I did see that you can expect most of these new Rocky merch pieces to ship within 2 to 6 weeks, I really hope it arrives a lot quicker than my boy Ye here. And if you're interested in some more Rocky related content, including seeing what the merch looked like surrounding his last album Testing, I covered this a couple of months ago, so I'll go ahead and include that in the description. Now, as always guys, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments. As a lifelong Rocky fan, I really hope that this new album comes soon, and I'd love to know if you end up picking up any of these new pieces. As always guys, please remember to stay safe out there. Thank you so much for cooking with the kitchen, and remember, it's lit, straight up, and peace.